There we go. Let's get Facebook rocking and rolling. And we can start the show. A lot of people coming in. That's great. Boom, boom. Welcome in. It is a Victory Monday morning, 10:20. Happy birthday to my sister. I need to give her a call. And man, what an awesome time. The Broncos rise to 5-2 on the season, and what was potentially one of the more improbable games that we've seen in the NFL this season. One of the more improbable Broncos victories and just chaotic matchups that we've seen dating back to, really, Dylan, maybe that was that Monday Night Football game. Peyton Manning coming back, was it down 17-0, 21-0 against the Chargers? And Broncos do something that was God, there's so many crazy stats from this one. Denver wins 33-32. I'm Nick Kendall, joined by Dylan. If you can tell, my voice is gone. The Mile High Huddle meet and greet. We picked a good game this year, and the power of the meet and greet overcomes my bad luck attending a game. So I see I'm 2-9 now in Denver games that I've seen. I thought for sure I was they were never going to ask me to come back, but get to hang on for another year. Dylan, we missed you. I'm sorry that you missed such a memorable game.
Yeah, man, it's not what I expected at all, especially going into the fourth quarter. Things seemed pretty grim, and I know a lot of fans were filing out and there was boos raining down, but in the end, the Broncos pulled it out, and maybe not a recipe for success every week, but it sure makes for an amazing game.
It doesn't matter if you win 2-0, 100-0, 199. It's you win the game at the end of the day. And do the Broncos have a lot to work on? Yes. Is this, you put in the first three quarters, that tape is still there, and they were worthy of boos. Let me tell you, I think Andrew Mason said they set offense back 30 years, the first three quarters. But my first and biggest takeaway, I don't think we got any super chats yet, but we'll get to say hello to you guys. My first and biggest takeaway from this team is, while, erratic and not exactly what you want to see, having to put up 33 points after putting up goose egg the first three quarters. Heart. I'm jealous, not in that locker room after this win, but coming in, celebrating DT's legacy, 33 points. It just died at 33. There was something with 88 as well out there. Just improbable, immaculate comeback for the Broncos. Again, as you said, not a recipe, but what heart and determination for the Broncos in this one to come out with a win. And this is one that Bronco country is going to remember for a while. Not every single season ends in the Super Bowls. Doesn't always have to be that. We'll see where Denver lands this year, but this is going to be one that, you're going to be like, you remember that game? You can picture where you were at. So pretty incredible to see Denver pull this one out and get the win and sit on top of the AFC West now at 5-2, 7 weeks into the season.
It's absolutely outstanding, and it's what they did in the fourth quarter. And obviously, like I mentioned at the top, you don't want to do that every week, but it shows heart and it shows grit to not give up, even when things are super grim. And that's a great trait that playoff teams have. And the Broncos, we've seen that now against the Eagles and the Giants. So a little bit of we won't call it a trend yet, but it's looking pretty good in terms of fourth quarter play. Now, if we can get more consistency through the first three, this team could be pretty dangerous, especially with how the defense is playing. And finally, getting a freaking takeaway. That's my biggest takeaway from the defense there.
Yeah, I was just tweeting out in real time every single quarter. It's been 16 quarters since the Broncos. It's been 17. We were getting darn close to 18, and luckily for Denver, Jackson Dart improbably, stupidly, I guess, puts the ball in harm's way. Like anything there, like getting sacked there stinks, but you punt the ball, the clock keeps ticking. It took a monumental collapse for Denver to come back and win that game. The win probability graph is unbelievable. 33 points in the fourth quarter. And just really, really incredible. We got Michael Ronquillo coming in here, says, good morning, Nick and Dylan on Broncos for breakfast. Go Bo Broncos. We also got our guy, David Carmelo, coming in, says, I was there yesterday. Sorry, I missed you. I didn't know that, David. We had the meet and greet. Had other friends to meet. That game reminded me of the Browns-Bears game in 2001. Does this Broncos team give you 2000 Bears vibes? Got to be honest, I was, middle school, sixth grade, whatever year that was, for the maybe even late elementary school. So not an educated, smart football fan at that point. It was on, but I don't know. So that's I guess maybe, but right now I'm just happy to get the win and sit in the vibes of that one. Plenty to work on. They were deserving of the boos the first 3 quarters. I don't know what the heck's going on. I mean, the play calling was crazy. Bo Nix was playing horrific football as well. Everything goes hand in hand with all of that. And defense, while it's unfortunate they have to play nearly perfect with how bad the offense was the first 3 quarters, they gave up some explosive miscommunication, Dart getting through, Cam Scattaboo leak yardage, they got stuff to work on as well. But it's a lot easier to say that and look back on after a win like we saw yesterday than a heartbreaking defeat.
Absolutely. And, I wasn't really sure who was going to step up for the Giants on offense, but apparently it was Daniel Bellinger. I mean,
Wan'Dale Robinson too.
Wan'Dale did, have a couple good plays, and that ricochet, I believe it was Theo Johnson. Man, that broke my heart there. I didn't. That's kind of the point where I was like, it might be over here, but obviously they hung on. But there's just some crazy play calls on offense. A lot of swing passing screens like we've seen, and the blocking was quite horrific on most of them. So the offense needs to get a little more vertical than horizontal. I'm not sure if that's Bo Nix not seeing the field right or Sean Payton not trusting him. We'll see if we get back on track, because that fourth quarter was great. Maybe a little more up tempo. Bo Nix seems to be comfortable with that, and obviously you can't do that all the time, but should implement that, or at least allow Bo to play up tempo a little more often.
Yeah, getting up to the line of scrimmage, getting quick out of the huddle. At some point, again, though, I mean, you're playing. This was not a good Giants team. I know they were feeling the vibes of themselves, but you got to operate the drop back pass game in standard NFL, true drop sets. So we'll see. But in this one, the 33 was, incredible. Bo Nix becomes the first player in NFL history, I believe, to score two passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns in the same quarter. Might have been the fourth quarter, but I believe it was just the same quarter. Unbelievable. Denver, this is from Ari Mirov. NFL teams had won 1,602 straight games when leading by 18 plus points in the final 6 minutes. That streak ended. So that's incredible. See Denver win that. And I think another one was Denver had like a 0.2% chance to win this game or something just crazy, like, a 1 in a 500 outcome there. So yeah, Denver comes back, gets the win. It took things going their way, but also it took the Giants, the refs calling some pretty rough stuff too. And if I'd have known, I don't typically like to be the blame the refs person, but if I knew that it was the Broncos going against the Giants and the refs in this one, maybe the Broncos would have been underdogs.
Absolutely. It's could you mention that word? Because that's our presenting sponsor for this morning, Underdog Fantasy. Football season is in full swing. And I forgot to bring this up. Hold up 1 second, guys. Getting ahead of myself. Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action and win money. Playing Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more.
I hope somebody out there cashed in on Bo Nix fourth quarter stats in this one, because you could have won a lot of money. That's right. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play it as little as $1. So you think you got to beat on what's going to happen in tonight's Monday night doubleheader, Game 7 of the World Series as well. Make sure you download Underdog and win some money.
I have so much fun playing Underdog and winning money while playing football. That's a touchdown, folks. Download the app today and sign up with promo code MHuddle to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Awesome. Shout out to Underdog. Shout out to Crushing It with Miles Smith. Sean needs to unshackle Bo. Nix can sling it. The play calling has been counterproductive in that regard with so many screens. Bunkers game, big W. I don't know. I just have such a chicken or the egg thing with this overall. There was plenty of true drop back stuff that the Broncos, Bo Nix, offensive line, pass catchers did not execute. And I think some of the screen stuff is protecting Bo Nix, who hasn't been good under pressure. Statistically speaking, it helps the offensive line as well doing that. And the Broncos' run game also was pretty unproductive. I mean, outside of the one big J.K. Dobbins run in the fourth or late third, early fourth, where he ran for, what was it, a 32-yarder. That's most of his, not most, but, 32 of his 81 yards on one carry despite 14 carries. But, I mean, he did have 50 pass attempts. I'll be curious. I haven't had a chance yet to go back and look at the heat map from this game. But they got to figure out something. I mean, you see the potential of what that looks like. Now, granted, I don't know if you saw the Brian Burns go into the locker room screaming, cussing, crying, throwing up, whatever, saying, why did we drop 8 into coverage? That changed a lot of how the Broncos were able to move the football. But again, at the end, you see potential for there to be some aggressive down the field shots. So hopefully they can find a happy medium. It doesn't always have to be, chaos, pushing the ball vertically, super duper aggressive, but they gotta figure out some balance because what we've seen 7 quarters prior to this fourth quarter was not good enough. And these, on paper, the Jets, good defense, Giants, good pass rush, but statistically they have not been good defenses this season. Not enough for Denver to be 13 points in 7 quarters. So gotta be a lot better. But in the end, 33 points, win is a win. Hopefully they can use this momentum and catapult it into a game where, let's be honest, they might need to put up 33 points next week against the number 1 offense in the entire NFL so far this season in the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys are looking great. Like you mentioned, you can't give up too many points, and you're going to have to put points on the board. And, for the first handful of games and even going into this one, Bo Nix has seemed a little just kind of scared. I don't want to say scared, but like throwing intermediately has not been something he's done at a high level this season. And that's, like you mentioned, probably why you're seeing Sean Payton call these swings and call these screens, because trying to protect Bo Nix a little bit. And there's a lot of times when these receivers are streaking over the middle, they're coming open, but Bo Nix is either stepping up into his offensive line, which hasn't been perfect. There's been injuries and just a couple in this game as well, with Mike Blanchie going down for a little bit there. But when his pocket is clean, he's got to make throws. He's still overthrowing deep balls, which was rough to see. There he had a couple that he had a beat on and just missed again. Not to get on Bo Nix too much, but because the offense as a whole has been pretty rough, and they kept the penalties more to the defensive side this week. So I guess that's a win for them, but obviously don't want to have too many critical penalties.
Yeah. Penalties were a big takeaway in this one for the Broncos as well. Unfortunately, I felt like they might have called a hold on Bowles or McGlinchey at some points, but I think that they were really, it was on both sides. They weren't calling it, but I think it really favored the Giants. Now I'm biased, but I mean, it looked like there was a lot of, Zach Allen especially getting, whipped around when Dart would climb up, and I'm like looking for the flag. The first touchdown pass, somebody got twirled around, looking like what is Dirty Dancing or whatever that movie is, flipping them up with some of the holds. But they didn't seem to call those. Giants, though, did benefit from the holds. Broncos, unfortunately, another game where they are definitely losing the penalty battle. They 12 penalties for 127 yards. The Broncos came into this game not the most penalized team, but the largest EPA lost due to penalties. I would imagine that really goes up again this week. That Riley Moss one, though, absolute freaking garbage. The cameras wouldn't have been on me when that play happened, Dylan, because it was the two-fingered salute coming down from the stands where I was to the stadium, because that was atrocious. The ref, the sideline judge that was right on it, didn't throw the flag. You had the center field judge from 40 yards away, late flag, throwing it. That was one of the ones that they had the huddle for a long time. I almost wonder if Sean Payton coming in and getting the flag there as well kind of kept them from talking about it. I don't know. They're humans. You don't want to say they're biased, but that one, I mean, what is Moss supposed to do? He gets his head around. The wide receiver goes through him. It's an underthrow. He makes a play on the football. He's in proper position. He doesn't run through the guy. In fact, the wide receiver even hooks him. And the situation as well. That was, again, biased. That was probably one of the worst pass interference calls I've seen in a long time in a Broncos game. And to call it in that situation against Moss as well, it's just it's really unfortunate. And that ref, I mean, get ready to learn pink slip. I don't know. Like that's inexcusable at that moment. I'm still really, really pissed off about that one. Thank goodness for, Bo Nix, Marvin Mims, the kicker for the Giants, and the Cortland Sutton and Will Lutz rectifying that. That was a ball don't lie moment, but the penalties really bad for the Denver. Like I said, 12 for 127 yards versus 8 for 36 for the Giants. Massive yards disparity, discrepancy. And also the Giants got 7 first downs from penalties in this game. That is how many? 7 of the 26. So pretty big chunk thanks to the penalties in this one. So very frustrating on that front. Denver's got to clean it up, but I did not feel like this was a game that was evenly reffed. And maybe it's, part of its reputation at this point because how the Broncos have been playing and the defense they play and everything. But this one, it felt like the very poor ref crew. I'm hoping that Nate Tice every single one of his recap shows, he gets on a ref crew as well. I'm hoping that this Giants Broncos one, he gets in this week because I thought they were freaking terrible.
Yeah, and I know some people have gotten on Sean Payton for the penalty he caused, but I kind of excuse it in that moment just with how ridiculous you mentioned that PI call was.
It's terrible.
Riley Moss is already getting enough crap as it is, just playing corner with the volume that he's getting thrown at. And for that PI to be thrown, absolutely just terrible. And like you mentioned, terrible moment. That's something you can't call there, but that I don't know if they wanted to extend the game or end the game for the Broncos. So, I mean, like you mentioned, I do feel there was some bias there, especially reffing crews aren't very fond of Sean Payton.
Yeah, we got Brad coming in here saying meet and greet was fun. Didn't shake your hand because I didn't want to interrupt your conversation. You definitely come over and say hi. I was running quarterback contain a lot of the meet and greet because I brought my 21-month-old and he just wants to run. And there was a big hill where we were by, and he wants to go down hills. He said everything that's a slant is a wee. That's what he says for slides. So there they go off to daycare. Bye, guys. Love you. Parents are here as well. But it was really fun, Brad, and hopefully next year you can come out and say hi. And, yeah, what a game. Yeah, really, really, really fun. I just can't get over the game. My dad is still – he texting me at like 3 a.m. I don't think he could sleep because he was so wired after that win. But, Brad, thanks for coming. Thanks for the super chat as well. Appreciate you. Let's go to hello to a lot more people in here today. Obviously, we have so much to talk about the Broncos win. It felt like there's too much game to even go over. We got David Youngkin takeaways were the Mims 3rd and 11 catch. That was huge. Obviously, the takeaway was the big one. Broncos kept fighting even after they scored that Bo Nix first rushing touchdown. I think NFL.com or Next Gen Stats put out like the win probability, and like Denver's was at 1%. It was below 1% before that touchdown. They scored it, and I think it only rose to 6 or 8. So when you use the win probability filters, that touchdown won't even be in there because Denver was so improbable to win that one. But when that interception happened, they had a chance. The deflect touchdown both ways. I mean, just unbelievable. I mean, maybe not the best game ever because the first 3 quarters were so ass-tastic. But that fourth quarter, crazy, just unbelievable. Ernie Mays, go Broncos country. What a game. Dominique, that was an edge of my seat ending. Much love to you guys. Yeah, my voice is gone. Todd, good to see you. I wish you were there. Fourth quarter yesterday, what a historic come from behind victory. Yeah, everybody doing it. Denver actually won special teams for the first time this season. I know they weren't the best on the returns. Was it RJ Harvey who stepped out on one of those ones? You can't have that on the kickoff. That my dad had some choice words there, but we didn't miss 2 extra points. So we only went for 1 extra point. Falling Sloth, good. Victory Monday, Broncos country. What a comeback. No, I should be concerned with our inconsistency, but all I can think about is how similar some of these tenacious wins feel to 2015. Denver isn't putting the ball in the paint defensively like that 2015, but they're also not giving the ball away like Peyton was that season. So we'll see. I mean, again, we'll correlate it to that 2015 season, but even if it doesn't end with Denver hoisting the Lombardi, it's been a pretty fun season so far, and there's still ample room to improve. And one thing that's, as much as I'm a giant Peyton Manning fan, you could see the sun was setting here. There's still room for optimism and growth and better for Bo Nix, where it felt like we were just hanging on with Peyton Manning there at the end. This feels a little bit more Tim Tebow-y right now with some of it, and that's just like how preposterous some of it is, rather than although the 3/4 of nothing and then unleash Tim Tebow, unleash Bo Nix. It's time's a flat circle, buddy. Good to see you, Max, coming in here. Appreciate you, Max. Morning, Broncos country. Gabe says in the fourth quarter we saw incredible blocking in both Bo touchdown runs. Ingram sealed his man at the goal line. The first one, McGlinchey and Bowles on the second touchdown run. That block from McGlinchey, he came 20 yards, but it was further than that because it was the opposite hash mark, and he pulverized. Granted, that defensive back didn't want any smoke, but shout out to McGlinchey. He played hurt. I don't know if he got hurt after that later on. He was kind of hobbled there at the end a few times. But that play call, the quarterback power keeper option, I mean, just beautiful. That felt like that was a Josh Allen play there from the Broncos there at Bo Nix' second rushing touchdown to give Denver what should have been probably the game-winning touchdown if the refs didn't want to make it about them.
Yeah, and I want to see more of those design runs kind of sprinkled in because we saw a lot of success with it last year, kind of went away from it, and then never started back up throughout this season. So it's good to see. And Bo is not the most amazing athlete, but he's athletic enough to get a couple touchdown runs apparently. So let's get a little more of that, get a little more creative, and run the ball in general. Getting that far 5-yard line and throwing like 3 consecutive passes in the red zone, that was pretty tough to watch. And then I believe they opened the game with three passes as well and with 3 and outs. So let's get the run game going, Sean. Let's be a little more consistent there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stats from the game, Denver loses the passing yards, but it's pretty comparable. The Giants were more explosive in the passes, so hopefully we can get some of the miscommunications in the back end. But really the only discrepancies in the game were the penalties, way in favor of the Giants. But the one that rings true is Denver did not turn the ball. As frustrating as they were the first 3 quarters, they did not turn the ball over. They protected, and there was never even one that felt like it was close to a turnover. And the Giants made the catastrophic play and that turnover, and that changed everything. And Denver still has to execute and everything, but that interception, the takeaway, +1 for Denver in this one. That's the game. We got good Gatorade Gaming coming in. Good to see Mr. Roush. Less screens is key, but Eric point the other day, execution is key. Missed assignments are happening. Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch, Dylan, but again, I don't think it's all just like play calling. It's execution as well. Obviously, I have probably more execution than play calling.
Yeah, I mentioned it a little bit at the top with the screens. It wouldn't be such a problem calling so many if they were blocked well. And for the most part yesterday, whether it was wide receivers or, tight ends or an extra lineman coming out, the screens weren't executed well whatsoever, no matter who was carrying the ball as well. So got to clean that up, because if you're going to really lean on screens and swing passes like a crutch, you got to execute. You got to block well. And we should see more of that going forward, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully. Good to see Denver. Luke coming in here, string guys in the house. So much fun. Yeah, Brad saying MHH is the best in the game. Good to see you, Brad. Jay Brew, good morning. Go Broncos. Thank you so much. Yeah, Tyler Brooks says DT passed away at 33. Broncos got ball with 33 seconds left to go ahead for 33 points. Pretty darn immaculate. Adam Strange says, who's to blame? The coach of the team? It's never just one thing. The offensive line, run blocking could have been better. They were not super efficient in that. Some drop passes. Bo Nix looking a little sped up, not delivering always the most catchable football. Some drops, Troy Franklin, erratic in the game. Evan Ingram, some missed blocks out there. And the Broncos giving up some explosive plays and not bringing down Jackson Dart. The refs not calling a lot that seemed to really favor the Giants in this one. Some games are going to be like that. But at the end of the day, 33-32, it's a memorable game. It's going to look the same in the win column at the end as Denver sits sole place in first in the AFC West after the Colts went into Los Angeles and beat the Chargers. And the Colts now are the number 1 points per possession offense in like modern day football. So what the hell is going on there? That loss in Indy is looking not as hurtful. Looking back, it would have been nice to beat the freaking Chargers though. Adam Strange, what's up, Broncos Maniacs? Great to see you. Conga's in the house. Good to see you. Conga Pearl is good. Good to see you, Pearl. Marty says, I don't know how to feel about this game. In one way, I feel great because we won, but I feel like our team played poorly. Should have lost thanks to that historic fourth quarter. We pulled out that win. It's the NFL. Again, I'll say this all the time. It's more impressive, like when everybody was super excited about the Broncos going in and beating the Eagles. Granted, jury is still out on the Eagles at that point, in my opinion. But it's more impressive, even if they are lesser teams, to go win 4 in a row against, mediocre teams that just missed the playoffs than to win one road game against a great team, because there's so much parity and it's hard to execute week to week. So Denver pulled out 2 games. I mean, they could just as easily right now could be, are they 5-2? They could be 3-4 right now, Dylan, but ball didn't bounce that way. We'll take the 1 score luck, whatever you want to call it. Denver did it and executed and pulled it out. And at the end of the day, the margins are so small in the NFL that separates a lot of teams. Now, right now is this iteration of the Broncos team, I think, Super Bowl caliber as they currently are playing and stand. No, I would say right now, I think the Chiefs beat them up pretty good. That might be it, honestly. I'm not even sure who else in the NFL is actually good. I don't buy the Bills. Packers have a lot of talent, but they're super duper erratic. Lions are good. Well, the Lions Bucks tonight going to be a fun one. I think there's just better teams in the NFC than the AFC. Oh, and the Colts also. I mean, but I'd love to see Indy and Denver. But that would be nice. But yeah, right now Denver, they're staying alive, and there's obvious room for improvement on offense. And if they can start taking the ball away, Dylan, everything should be a little easier for everybody.
Yeah, they're finding ways to win, and it's not the easiest route to victory, as we've seen with some of these wins. But once the offense, and I say it every week, and it may be beating a dead horse, but once the offense does find some kind of cohesion and identity, maybe get more consistent with the run game, this team's going to be absolutely insane. I mean, imagine this defense with a lead, with how well they've been playing for the most part. Yeah. But we just haven't come out and got an opening score, which is really frustrating. They start slow and they stay slow, and you can't wait till the fourth quarter every game, because the good teams, which are kind of few and far between, like you mentioned, the AFC, not really sure who's good these days.
The Chiefs
but
are.
Unfortunately the Chiefs, but like against the Chiefs and the Colts, we've seen you can't leave it up to the last minute every week, because you're going to get burned some of those times. And while, again, not a recipe for success, it's good to know that the Broncos will keep fighting through the fourth quarter, whether they're down 19 or what have you.
Yeah, I almost wonder if, like, Sean Payton, the old ball coach, comes in and, like, only reviews the first 3 quarters of the game, being like, oh, look how good. I don't care. What the bleep happened the first 3 quarters here? Now he point the fingers. I'm talking with his coaching staff and himself as well, but you cannot dig yourself in that and expect to win against good teams. And these last 2 weeks, Denver feel good. 2 wins, obviously better than 2 losses, but those weren't 2 good teams that you beat. It is the NFL. You take what you can, but got to be better if you're going to end up, contending for a Lombardi. Ryan Yazzie, good to see you. Good victory Monday. Appreciate you. Aaron says, imagine losing that pass interference call after putting up 30. Ball don't lie. Jermaine said, oh yeah, happy I let my son off the punishment, and now I'm regretting it. Well, that's your call. Hopefully you're not like the coaching staff. I would not let them off the punishment as well. Yeah, this just felt like a game and everything was going wrong for Denver. As good as, I've been a big fan of Sean Payton's red zone design, goal to go design. Sometimes I feel like he calls some of the goal to go plays like he's trying to win the Heisman race for his quarterback, because like the 4 passes and some of the tricksy stuff, rather than, lining up. Now I know they had Dexter Lawrence, but like you didn't even run it like once on that first one. Got it have been, I don't know what Bo Nix was doing on that Garrett Bowles pass. He just lollipop it to him. He looked really uncomfortable with his footwork in it as well. I mean, you don't get more open than that. I know it's Garrett Bowles, but he was open. That was terrible. That should have been an easy touchdown But some of this play calling, a little bit head scratching, and the reffing also. Yeah, Joey says refs tried so hard to make us lose. It was bad. 78 Leadhead says, I don't understand the penalties. Doesn't seem like a Sean Payton team. I can't speak to Sean Payton's historical defensive numbers. I do imagine that some of those Saints teams, given how aggressive they have been with especially the Vitt years, I would imagine they were a little bit higher on the penalties. But there's just a lot of, it's not just aggressive penalties, it's some of the procedural boneheaded stuff as well that they got to clean up.
Yeah, penalties they got to clean up. And another thing that has blown my mind this season, the amount of batted balls from Bo Nix, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how you fix that, but I believe there was 4 to 5 in this game. 4. Just I don't know what's wrong. It's like we got Kyler Murray back there. I know he's taller than him, so I'm not sure what's really happening with those batted passes. If they're just reading the defensive line's reading his eyes super well or what, but something's got to change in that area.
Not changing. Super chat's rolling in. We got Addison coming in, saying, for the love of God, can Sean stop spamming screens? I mean, the screen was a big part of Bo Nix's offense in Oregon. It was a big part of what Sean Payton's done with Drew Brees. I think it's an easy button rather than having to operate the drop back pass game consistently and trying to get the ball out. We need better blocking on the perimeter, and hopefully you can start to get a little bit better execution on those. But yeah, they've not been good. I would love to see a screen and go as well, operate something. Maybe you're setting things up. What you're calling right now, establishing some tendencies. Sometimes you like to set that up for when you really need it later on. So maybe we'll be seeing a screen pump and go concept versus the Chiefs where you have to have it. But yeah, it is frustrating. And what's really frustrating too, and you see these, I think it was Max Toscano, who does a lot of good work does a lot of tight end work, but he says that, I don't even know if Bo Nix is a good, capable quarterback at all, but I know when the chips are down and there's a gun pointed to his head and he has to be pushing the ball, there's some good stuff there. So is that the basis for an offense? I don't know. But it's impossible to say there's not potential there to push the ball and be obviously better than, have to be better than what we saw the 7 quarters leading up to the fourth quarter. But I don't know. I would love to see Sean's, he's smart and he can answer around things, but I'd love to see the media in the press conference kind of push Sean hey, what's the difference? What's actually happening here for the offense to be DOA for so much? And then you're able to put that up. Some of that is, again, I think the Giants calling uber conservative and going over with what they were doing. Brian Burns would tell you that too, but got to figure something out. It was not good enough, obviously, through the first 3 quarters. Goose egg, 33. Insane.
That's the craziest box score I've seen.
Yeah. Brad says, the game yesterday exposed Sean's play calling. Look at what Bo can do when he isn't held back. Hopefully Sean changes it up moving forward. They call it like they're afraid for him to operate the drop back pass game. I don't know I don't know how else to say it. I'll be eager to listen to the some of the bigger talking heads this week on some of the shows, because it is confounding. And maybe you do see him to open it up a little bit going forward if you have to. He did throw the ball 50 times in this one. Now, granted, some of that was game script, but this was not a 50-50 split game. They were throwing it around. I checked the next gen stats. They don't have the spray chart from the game yesterday up yet. But again, you come away and there is potential for them to at least push the ball and be a little better. Lawrence says it's like we tripped and landed into the luckiest seasons of our lives. I would say yesterday wasn't necessarily luck. They've had, I think, equal good luck and bad luck. The leveraging call, the Chargers touchdown that they had, the refs in this one as well. This is the NFL. You got to just keep stacking wins, and each game is its own game. And right now, Denver is 5-2. Plenty to improve upon and get better at, but I wouldn't say that they are lucky right now.
No, man. Beyond the tipped touchdown pass to Troy Franklin, the luck got scraped away when it happened with the Giants with the ricochet touchdown. So, you don't just fall into 33 points. You have to go out there and get them, and the Broncos just waited till there was almost insurmountable pressure to do so. Hopefully they don't. That's not the motivating factor going forward, because I'm not sure I'm a younger guy, but I don't know if my heart can take too many of wins like that.
Yeah. David Vasquez, amazing. We got Jason says, love Emmanuel Sanders take on the broadcast. Excuse me, my voice is screwed after the game yesterday. I was hitting the seats in front of me so hard, Dylan, that my fingers are still like stinging. I was just, and shout out to the fans that stayed. I would guess, after that tipped pass touchdown on 3rd and 17, maybe 10% started heading for the exit, but a good bit stayed and saw what is one of the more immaculate Broncos victories in a while. But Jason says, yeah, you got to target playmakers and play calling, not simply play designs. I think some of the issue with the Broncos in this perspective is that do you actually have quote unquote playmakers on offense? I think a lot of it is predicated on the play designs. Like Evan Ingram is a nice scheme open piece. He's not necessarily a playmaker. Sutton can be, and we saw like some with Mims, but most of the basis of his play on the field so far has been gadget oriented. I mean, shout out to him. He made the plays, but I don't know if you have the like ISO playmakers right now. And a lot of times if you only have one, unless they are, Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Jamar Chase level, they can be schemed out by the opposing team. So I don't know if Denver is there right now. I don't know if Sean also fully believes in that style of offense. I think he thinks that the quarterback's smart enough and he can run the ball with the offensive line and the defense that can win football games, which, we have a blueprint that's worked for a long time. I also think that Sanders is probably a little biased on this. I don't necessarily disagree with him. I don't think that you have a true quote unquote playmakers in the pass game. I don't think you also have to have those guys to be a functioning good offense. Certainly if you have them, it's great. But that's perspective. I just would push back on the Denver having the playmakers.
Yeah, outside of Sutton, like you mentioned, who's going out there making big plays consistently. Obviously, Mims had a handful of pretty good catches this game, but he's been MIA and just more so a gadget player for every other game.
Yeah.
We've heard the word potential so many times with this wide receiver room. And, Troy Franklin looked good for about a drive in the Colts game. And other than that, he's had a fumble. He's had some drops. And no one's stepping up. Someone has to, whether it's Ingram, whether it's Pat Bryant, Troy Franklin, Mims, someone has to step up the opposite. Cortland Sutton, he can't be the playmaker every week. And kind of why I advocated for Emeka Egbuka throughout the draft process, because he was a wide receiver too. You need more than one playmaker on your offense to make it churn. And we've kind of seen that there with the Buccaneers.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if we said hello to Bugmeister. Good to see you. What a game. I'm still smiling. Me too. Do want my voice though. I'm going to need it today. Adam J. Johnson, over 10 plus holds and never got called in the Giants O-line still bothers me about the refs. I will say that I can't remember if the Broncos got called for an offensive line hold. There might have been.
There was one on Bowles.
Was it Bowles or was it McGlinchey? I cannot recall. It might have been.
I believe it was Bowles.
Okay.
It was pretty early on.
When you're at the game, it's kind of, especially when you're used to watching it on the TV broadcast, it kind of gets blurred. But yeah, there was a lot of non-holds. I do feel like that area at least they weren't only calling like holds in the Broncos, and then you see obvious ones not calling the Giants. Like they were kind of letting them play in the trenches to a certain extent. But yeah, some of the stuff down the field was ticky-tacky for sure. Ticky-tacky. Joe, is Mile High Magic back? Well, Denver is 2-3-0 at home on the season. I would, love to see the next game not be as a, cardiac event inducing as what we saw in this one. But the Broncos offense cannot do what they did. And the defense honestly can't do what they did and beat the Cowboys. Luckily the Cowboys, for as good as they are on offense, they are equally bad on defense. But dare I say, I'm trying to rack my head on the league so far. I don't know if there's a quarterback who's playing better football than Dak Prescott right now. Maybe Baker Mayfield, but like Baker's got like a little bit of a defense on the other side where like Dak is playing Big 12 football. Like if he doesn't put up 50, they might lose, which is crazy. Dak's playing incredible. Denver's defense got to be better. Broncos offense has to be better. This is a game where, 0 points for the first 3 quarters, you're getting probably blown out. One thing about Dak though is he will put the ball in harm's way, but they're run blocking pretty well. and they got CD back, and looks like the trade for George Pickens has been awesome. So Riley Moss, gut check time. Denver's gone up against some really good number twos, and Cowboys might have the best of them with how Pickens has played this year. We got String Guy. Yes, is a good point. Leroy, great comeback from comeback win. Question about the matchups next week. Vance Joseph has to let Pat Surtain stick on George Pickens because he's playing lights out. Riley Moss have to play lights out against CeeDee Lamb. What do you guys think? I think it all predicates on stopping the run still. I mean, Javonte Williams, credit to him. Good guy. Happy for him. He's playing pretty well besides that Panthers game. But the Cowboys have been running so efficiently that they've been ahead of the sticks constantly this season. And the Cowboys are still going to throw it up. They're going to get theirs. Because Lamb is so much of the X ISO player, I think you probably one-on-one with Surtain while doubling shading a safety versus CD. You should naturally have more help if he's playing more slot and Z. But I think it's can you get enough run stuffs early on, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8 consistently, where then you can pin your ears back, get a little bit more fun with the rush design up front from your pass rushers and get after it. But it's going to be a heck of a game. That's a big one for the Broncos. Cowboys are always, one of my favorite all-time barn burners for the Broncos, Dylan, was Cowboys-Broncos back in 2013.
Yeah, this should be some fireworks if the Broncos can get their offense rolling. Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, that's going to be a pretty tough matchup for the secondary. And Jake Ferguson as well, their tight end, has been playing pretty well. And we know the Broncos linebackers have been kind of exploited with tight ends, and that kind of just happens across the league. But obviously, we notice it quite a bit more with how poor the linebackers have been in coverage for the Broncos for the past several years. Speaking of that, man, I hope we see more Justin Strnad and Greenlaw out there. I doubt it'll happen just because Alex Singleton is that captain. But man, Strnad's been pretty good this season. Not an all-star, but man, he's improved quite a bit.
I will say, based on the snap counts, I think we had like 46 for Strnad and 21 for Greenlaw, 100% for Singleton. So there's your indicator. He's the green dot. I don't know if they're messing with the communication in the spine there, but if he's getting burnt, it's something to watch. Ball's got to go somewhere, though, especially with a Cowboys offense. Somebody on the defense is going to give up some big plays. This game, honestly, the player who I thought was probably the worst in the Broncos defense was Jaquan McMillan. He had a rough one getting beat over the middle. Like Wanda Robinson's shifty, and ball's got to go somewhere, like we said. But CeeDee Lamb's a tough test coming up here. So we are reaching close to the end here, Dylan. Appreciate everybody coming in here. We got Jay Milzo Gaiman coming in as well. $5 super chat. We appreciate you. He says we need someone to be feared on offense. We don't have that right now. Trade deadline, we have to make a try to get Waddle or perhaps Mark Andrews. I don't know if either of those guys are truly feared. They would add another weapon to you right now. I do think that Andrews is probably almost like a 1-for-1 in usage of Ingram. And with where offenses are at right now in the NFL, you'd rather have a two-way tight end, just with what's working with 12 personnel. But, it's certainly something to consider. I think probably your Mark Andrews / who was the other guy that was available for trade this offseason at tight end? Can't even remember.
Was it Njoku?
Njoku? He's one that's been mentioned. But Mark Andrews, I think it would have, if you traded for Mark Andrews, you wouldn't have gotten Ingram. I think they play the same position where they're essentially a glorified move piece. I think if there's any tight end that would be interesting, now granted, it's not somebody to fear, but like Joku, you mentioned there as a Y, and also there's been some talk of Freiermuth being moved. I'm not sure if that's necessarily for Denver, but somebody to replace Troutman and just give you a little bit more pass catching ceiling. I don't remember. Like if we could get a Tucker Kraft in here, that would be nice for the offense. But alas, not right now. And as far as Jalen Waddle, he is kind of feared, but I still don't think he's like this like playmaker. Like he can be part of the design, but when I'm talking like playmaker, there's like, it's like when you're talking about Benito or Patrick Surtain, there's only 8 to 16 in the game at any given point. Like I'm talking superstar to be feared. And you don't have to have that guy either to be a good offense. Like I said, it helps. But just off the top of my head right now, I don't want to, we can spend another time naming them, but I don't know if Denver has that guy. They got useful pieces though.
Yeah, some good solid pieces right now, and some guys still learning. Obviously, you got the rookies with RJ Harvey being a little disappointing to this point, but also the getting away from the run game quite a bit. It doesn't help him out there. And, Pat Bryant, he had a drop to start the game, which was a little rough to see. But other than that, he has been getting open and he has made some clutch catches. So hopefully he gets fed a little more as they try and figure out what the hell they even have in their wide receiver room.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we are going to wrap it up here. Good to see everybody. Good to see Jasmine coming in. Hey, guys, feels like a dream. Fever dream for sure. Yeah, I still don't understand what happened. Good to see David T coming in. Mentioned sick of the Broncos offensive side and a slow start. I wish they could run the ball and just, march down the field and kind of flex a little bit. But right now, left guard, center, not really moving guys at the point of attack. And Miners is having maybe his worst year since his rookie season in my book. So got to get better there. And there's still plenty of room. And if it's easy to say, right now you're surviving. And if Denver starts losing games, we can look back and say, oh, yeah, obvious cracks in the foundation here. But they have a chance to improve still. And that's the mark of a well-coached and bought-in right people kind of team. So 5-2, first place. Everything to play for still in front of you. You'd rather be there than other side of it. We got DeAndre coming in. Good morning. Happy Victory Monday. Mile High Magic is real. Yeah, it was rocking in there. I will say, man, it was disheartening. That I felt like I couldn't even truly enjoy Super Bowl 50 being out there and the DT stuff at halftime because the offense was that bad. And the defense giving up explosive coverage breakdowns. Really frustrating. I mean, the Broncos fans were so excited the first few drives and giving energy, but the offense was so bad that the fans weren't even in it for the defense anymore, which how could you be? I mean, yeah, it's complimentary football, and that includes keeping the fans energized. But there was points there, late second, third quarter, Denver's defense is on the field, and it was not, the loudest, most raucous environment. And who could freaking blame them? It was pretty pitiful there. Luckily, all's well that ends well for the Broncos, but plenty of bad to work on for this team this week leading up to a big Cowboys game. I know that I'm getting long-winded here. One final point, Dylan. Teams, Sean Payton mentioned it, and the stats back it up too. Teams coming back the game after their London trip have been pretty damn horrible. The Broncos elected not to have a bye week following that game. The Giants had an extra 3 days to prepare and be rested. Kind of looked like that. Denver got their legs under them. Oh, we're in mountain time. It's not, jolly good England anymore. But Denver surviving that against the odds again. Big. So 3-game winning streak now, sitting here at 5-2 on the season. A lot to work on, but man, great win. Really exciting. And hopefully we'll see even better next week. Got Michael again. Great show today. Nick and Dylan on Broncos for Breakfast. Good job. Any final thoughts, Dylan? I think we've touched on a lot. So shout out to, again, who is Bo Nix? Is this Tebow? Is this Matt Stafford? I mean, the comebacks are immaculate. I'm still trying to process what happened. Heck of a game, though, and rather have it turn out that way than the other way, but plenty to work on still.
Yes, very, very happy about the win. Super exciting game, obviously, and and still I want more consistency. I can still be a little critical. Hey, Bo Nix, you need to ramp it up the first 3 quarters. Sean Payton, let's get a little more creative and not throw so many screens. But discipline is the big thing still. Like these penalties are backbreaking, and they've been able to overcome it the past 2 weeks, but it's not going to happen every week against the contenders, the Chiefs, the Colts, the Buccaneers, all these teams. They're going to bite. You're going to get bitten in the ass if you keep doing stuff like that. And I don't know what it's going to take to figure it out, but it's got to stop very soon.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas Cowboys had 41 points before the fourth quarter even started this week against Commanders. So, well, Dallas's offense has been horrible. Got a lot to work on. Maybe it is 4 straight. Yeah, because it is. It is 4 straight because Denver they were at 1-2 and then they beat the Bengals. So thank you. Didn't have it in front of me here, but we're going to wrap it up. Great win for the Broncos. Historic, immaculate, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's going to be one of those games where you're going to be sitting there with your buddy Bronco fan 20 years from now and be like, remember that game where Denver put up 33 in the fourth quarter and came back? Yeah, what the hell? That was insane. Yeah, definitely the best football game I've ever been at live. Not the best product because, again, the first three quarters were abysmal, doesn't quite do it justice. But yeah, really, really really incredible game. And RT says, how come Scott isn't on here anymore? Scott's doing the Falcons stuff full time now. He built that up enough, and he's enjoying doing that with all his other stuff. So we got Eric most of the time and Dylan today because Eric's on a flight to Alaska after the meet and greet. A lot of fun, man. A lot of fun game. Hopefully we'll be feeling the vibes of this one for a bit. Unfortunately, I guess, as I can tell you from covering the Falcons with Scott as well, as good as the vibes are 1 week, beating the Bills at home and the Falcons defense, they can evaporate just like that the next week. Falcons putting up 10 points and looking terrible versus the 49ers last night. So week to week, not too high, not too low. Denver's 5-2. Keep stacking wins. I predict 11 wins to start the season. I'm feeling pretty good about that right now. Unfortunately, the Chiefs look incredible. Granted, played the Raiders, but got a big stretch leading up to this Kansas City game, and hopefully Denver can, prove worthy of the matchup right now because they got to play better overall if they're going to stack up against the better teams, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and yeah, that's the team right there. The toughest challenge this season will be the Kansas City Chiefs, as it typically is. The Broncos play cleaner football; they play more creative football. They're going to have a chance, but man, I think my motto this season has been cautious optimism.
Why not us, right? Like the NFL is wide open. So you never know. Just keep stacking wins. Good things can come. Appreciate everyone. All the super chats today. You guys killed it. David Carmelo, Michael Ronquillo a couple times. Crushing it with Miles Smith. Brad in the house. Brad, thanks for swinging by. Yeah, it's definitely – it was good to I wish we could say hello. We got Addison coming in too. Good to see you, Addison. Yeah, it's frustrating. We got Lawrence, Jay, Milzo, Gaiman, Michael again. You guys are all great, but we got a lot to improve upon still. But good to see Denver win. Thank you guys. Mr. Roush says hit the like button on the way in, and yeah, Dylan, thanks for coming in, hanging out. You guys hit us up on Twitter. We got Dylan at Dylan Von Arks, MHH. I'm at Nick Kendall, MHH. Also follow us at Mile High Huddle or over at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and facebook.com/Mile High Huddle pod. Become a member over on YouTube, like, subscribe, share over on YouTube, like on Facebook. Appreciate everybody coming in, hanging out today. Dylan, always a good time. Good to see you. Thanks for letting me be the best looking person at the MHH, the writer at the MHH meet and greet this year for not coming. So that was great. No, hopefully we'll have you there next year. You guys are great. Great to see Denver get the win. And we'll see what happens next. I'll see you guys again tomorrow night. We'll see you the priests tonight as well. As always, choose kindness and compassion. Go Broncos.